I'll start by answering the question that I get asked most frequently, which is why would you write a book about the end of the world? I feel a little bit like I've been working on this for probably the better part of a decade, because a lot of as a journalist, as a science writer, and editor, a lot of the stories that we cover are things that have apocalyptic overtones to them. So, one of the obvious things is climate, which has this. On the one hand, it seems slow to develop. It takes hundreds of years, thousands of years. Climate is getting warmer, et cetera. But there are always hints that something could happen suddenly, and there could be a rapid change, and it could be catastrophic, and that sort of thing. There were disease outbreaks like SARS that were very worrying, bird flu, which is still worrying. And even things like the internet, which you think of as something that's benign or even good. After all, it gives us Facebook and email and things like that. But the internet was designed by a bunch of academics for whom their security plan was basically we'll just trust one another. And we've been playing catch up to that ever since. Those are the kind of things that I've been writing about. I guess when you work in a homicide department, everyone looks like a potential murderer. So, but the penny really dropped for me one day when I was talking with an ecologist, and I was interviewing her about her work, which was all very interesting. And we got to chatting afterwards about population and the human population. And if you think about human population growth over the last 100 years or so, it's remarkable. When my father was born, there were fewer than 2 billion people on the planet. Now there are 7 billion people. And the United Nations, when they calculate the trajectory of this growth, they make a nice smooth curve that goes up to about 10 billion people and levels off. And my ecologist friend says to me, that's not what populations do. They don't grow very rapidly and level off. And if you look at it from the standpoint of an ecologist, you think, well, this population is not going to level. The chances of it leveling off are very slim. Populations, when they rise very quickly, they often crash, which they have a precipitous drop, and then they may level off. They may reach some steady state at some point in the future, but they generally don't. It doesn't happen smoothly. So this is frightening. This really got me thinking, and I'm thinking about all these things that we've been writing about, and now this, and you put it all together, and you've got this very gloomy picture. To make it even gloomier, if you think about extinction, if you add extinction into the equation, and you start thinking about how in the past 4 billion years or so of life on the planet, there have been a handful of events in which many species have been killed off. We're talking, like 90% in some cases of all species. It's like nature's way of wiping the slate clean and starting again. When you think about that happening, it'll really keep you up at night. So I decided to do a kind of an inventory of monsters, creepy things that could come back to hurt us, and I've boiled it down to pretty much 3 things. One of them is climate, which is obvious. One of them is disease. And one of them is machines.